man, are you a butcher? Are you a real butcher? Are you a butcher? So some people out in YouTube land have this misconception that I am the Backridge Butcher, that I just go around killing everything at Backridge. Hence, I'm a butcher. Well, I get asked quite a bit, am I a real butcher, being the Backridge Butcher? Well, the answer is yes. I left school 1983. School just wasn't for me. Didn't work, didn't click, nothing made sense. I couldn't spell, English was hopeless, science was just a riddle, and maths was a jumble. My brain wasn't wired for what school wanted me to achieve. An opportunity came up at a local butcher shop. The guidance counsellor said, Glenn, get down there, do the interview for the experience. Bugger me, I got the job. Suddenly, I was earning money. 8,000 hours, and 4 years later, I got my trade certificate. Proudest moment of my life. I actually achieved something. Had a piece of paper that said, you're a winner. Finished the apprenticeship. A bunch of mates said, let's all go to Aussie. Flew to Australia, worked in a couple of butcheries over there, failed, wasn't up to speed. Butcher shop I'd worked in Havelock North was old school, built in the 1920s. We did everything with a handsaw or a meat cleaver, as we know it, a chopper. Big city in Sydney, everything was done on bandsaws and I wasn't up to speed. Kicked my confidence for a wee bit, but it's all about learning. Stumbled on a job at the Sydney Hilton. That was my lucky break. Worked at the Sydney Hilton for a year, learned all these new skills, met lots of people. It was such a fun time. But I was homesick for the bush. Thought I'd sneak back home, do some hunting, play a bit of rugby for Havelock North, and then my dream was to go to London, work in some butcher shops over there, get some more experience. Between hunting and playing rugby, a butcher shop came up for sale in Havelock North, and rightly or wrongly, I went, yeah, that's a bit of me. Bought into a business. 21 years old, borrowed tens of thousands of dollars, got on with it, believed in myself, thought I was the best butcher in the world. I wasn't too bad a butcher, but business side of it, didn't have a clue. During the 8,000 hour 4-year apprenticeship, I did learn to make sausages, taught by an old English sausage maker, and he was the man. He was in his 80s then. His name was Eric. Old Eric was one of my first heroes. He could keep a young apprentice spellbound for hours while we were making sausages, telling stories of fighting the Nazis in World War II, especially against Rommel the Desert Fox. To this day, I still use his basic principles and recipe. He was a Yorkshireman, and at the end of my apprenticeship, he told me I wasn't a bad butcher. But, and I was like, but? He said, you'll never be a real butcher. You'll never be a real butcher. And I was a bit taken back by that, because at that stage, I thought I was the man. Nah, he said, back in my day, he said, you've got it easy. I had to go and buy the stock at the sale yard, herd them through the cobblestone village, 2 a.m. in the morning, to the back of the butcher shop and put them in the yards. He said I then had to proceed to kill those sheep, butcher them, skin them, gut them, hang them up, get them in the chiller, and the next day start boning them out for the sausage process. So he said, you don't do any of that. You only, yours come on a truck. You are cheating. I was like, huh. So anyway, that was all good. So I ran that butchery for 6 years, paid back my debts, had some really, really amazing times, learnt a lot. The time came to sell that butchery, moved on from there, did a little stint in a freezing works. It was only a few days that was scary because freezing works were just totally foreign to me. Freezing work butchers and shop butchers, they come from different planets. Anyway, I got a phone call, come and work for me at my farm kill. So I was like out of that freezing works as fast as I could. While working at the farm kill one day, I looked at this animal and went, what is that? It's the first horse I'd ever seen on the back of a truck. Soon it was hung up, skinned, quartered. We got to butcher it. First one I've ever done in 40 years. Only one I've ever done in 40 years. The butcher shops in France have a horse head on the outside of the shop to indicate they sell horse meat. It's a delicacy over there, not so much in New Zealand. Unfortunately, that farm kill closed down after a year, so suddenly I was jobless. Family friends said, why don't you look at the supermarkets? At the time, supermarkets were gobbling up little butcheries all over town and they were just shutting down. Every street corner used to have a butcher shop on it, but Slowly as time went by, they all disappeared. This family friend said, supermarkets are the future, you need to get into those. Long and the short of it was ex-butcher shop butcher working in a supermarket in Hastings. He was known as a hard man, but he was the best man around. And I thought, if I'm going to learn from the best, I need to go and work for him. Dropped off the CV, got the job. 19 years later, I was still at that supermarket. It was pretty cool. That was probably the biggest learning curve I've ever had. They're very, very professional to work for, and you learn a truckload. It can be funny how life's little opportunities arise. Little Red and I were at a party way out in the country. She was a hoedown. All the guys there, to be fair, were tractor enthusiasts. They were just mad on it. It was their passion. They were talking talk that went straight over my head. Massey Ferguson's. Down the other end of the room was a thick-set guy with a big glass of red wine in his hand. Wandered down, said g'day. Said what a great day it would be for a hunt. He looked at me. We started talking deer, antlers, rutting stags, and somehow the talk evolved to sausages. I said I had a sausage filler at home in the shed, nowhere to make them. He said he had plenty of venison on tap. What else did we need? I said we needed a mincer. Blow me down, a butcher shop closed down nearby. We picked up a mincer. Suddenly we're in business, tuning out sausages for his family and mine. It was just so good. It was cool. Word got out. Mates started turning up. Could you make us some sausages? Suddenly we had a business. Part-time business in the weekends that got real busy, and the rest is history. After almost 20 years there, it's time to leave the supermarket. What am I going to do next? Turn this little business part-time one into a full-time one. Is there enough there for a job for me? Took a bit of a punt, threw some money at the premises we have now. Concrete, chillers, freezers, a little bit more equipment. We started off. Social media was amazing. Make some sausages, post them. More hunters would turn up. Growing and growing. We've kept it simple. So Little Red works here part-time. I'm obviously full-time. And that's the way we like it. Well, I can work weeks in a row without a day off. If the weather's rubbish and the job's coming in, just keep doing it. As soon as the weather's good, out that door, go for a hunt. I've got a little bit of flexibility, and that's what life's all about. Hopefully that answered some questions. Yes, I am a real butcher. Part-time YouTuber. Part-time YouTuber. This is what we do for a crust.